So, John Sasha, I want to transition to what I call the guest spotlight. So, what we're going to do now for the guest spotlight is both of our guests have things that they just mentioned in their kind of responses. So, I want to let me show the graphic, emphasize guest
Ooh.
spotlight, guest
Ooh.
spotlight. So I am going to first start with Sailub. So Sailub is a professional equestrian. She's mentioned that already. But my question to you is, do you know that all your events have been recorded, Sailub? Do you remember all of them? Or have you kind of forgotten because you've competed so much?
Yeah.
Do you remember anything?
You mean my competition and stuff?
Yeah. You know they're
Yeah.
all online, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up one of the competitions and hopefully you'll remember it. I hope so. Or maybe seeing the video will jog your memory. So just give me a second because this is a great segue because you said you want to promote equestrian. I think there's no better way to promote it than for you to talk through one of your races, which was 2015. I believe it was the SEA Games in Singapore. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you remember your experiences there? I hope
Yep.
so, because I'm about to show you a video from that you're going to talk us through. So give me 1 second. I was really impressed, by the way. I don't think either of you have seen this, but yeah, equestrian, real serious. So I'm going to have her talk through it. Let me get that video up. So let me just make sure you can see it. Remember this?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay, so before I play the video, can you set the stage for us? What competition was this? And what were some general feelings you were doing before we get into this video? So where was this? Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps because it's actually like it's happening at the same in June, I believe it was in June. This was my first SEA Games 2015 in Singapore. And I competed with this horse called Kahena, but I call her Casey. And I just got her for just 2 weeks before I have to fly her over to Singapore because at the time I was training in Germany. So yeah, it was very excited. It was actually my first competition with this horse as well, and I have to competed with her in on behalf of Thailand. So that was very excited. It was my first SEA Games, and this I believe it was my individual round. Yeah, it was my individual round because I wear that jacket. Yeah, so I won my 2 bronze medal. That was my first medals from SEA Games for Thailand.
Okay, so just to emphasize, 2 weeks. You didn't really kind of train with this horse, correct? So
No,
this
not
was okay. All right, so I'm going to start playing the video. So I will pause a bit just to kind of give you some time to commentate through. One of the first things I want to note is your horse has a very interesting kind of hat on it. The black horns.
Yeah, those were called we call it ear hoodies. So those were for well, I call it ear hoodie because it's just like a hoodie, but those are for because the some horses, they're quite sensitive on sounds. And when you're riding in this big arena, you have a lot of sound from the crowd and here and there, so it helps to reduce those sounds a little bit. It will help the horse to be calm.
So I assume it might spook the horse and then it might, trying to stay focused, yeah?
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting into your run a bit. So can you talk through, what's the key? So for those who are not familiar with equestrian, what's kind of the objective here?
The objective is to try not to knock down any fences in the course and try to go through everything in one go and within the time that they're set.
Okay, so over under, Sasha. Think she got over all of them cleanly?
Obviously, no doubt about it. Sure.
All right, let's see. So kind of you're getting into your gallop. So what are you thinking as you're kind of getting into the approach for these jumps?
Oh,
Because I assume some, yeah.
the first jump is the most important one because you have to start good. If you don't start good on the first fence, then the whole thing would be difficult, so you better start good with a good rhythm, and then after that everything will come easy and you'll get into the rhythm.
Okay, but I assume like these first couple jumps are the easier ones. Do they put them closer together as you progress through?
It depends on the size of the arena as well, and it depends on how the course designer would design how he wanted to put the fences here and there. So, but first couple of fences, normally it should be the easy one, the easy start, and then it gets more technical and more harder once you go through them.
So let me just pause there. Oh, nice pause there. So what's the key to making sure that your horse kind of goes over it cleanly? What's kind of some of the challenges there, and why do some kind of equestrians hit the barriers and others are clean? What's kind of the challenge there as you're kind of going into these jumps?
Well, to be able to go through all the jumps clear, you have to have good balance, good rhythm, and good takeoff spots. So these are like, you have to try to get to the right takeoff point. And imagine if you do like a what's it called when a long jump competition. So you have to have the takeoff point, right? And if you manage to control your horse with good balance and good speed and to that right takeoff point, then you should be able to clear the fence.
And how much do you practice this, by the way?
I practice almost every day, but not jumping every day, of course. It's not good to train the horse to jump every day because it's a lot of impact. You jump too much and you would get more injured, of course. So what we do is we only do ground poles. So you put the poles on the ground and you just try to get your takeoff point on the right points, and just by using the poles to put on the ground, so you don't have that much impact when you're practicing.
Looks so majestic.
Thank you.
Wow.
Because I was just saying that was the hardest one, and I see like right there you're congratulating your horse. So it's really kind of a key partnership you have with your horse, yeah? Kind of what goes into that, building that trust? Because again, you were doing this with a horse that you only were working with for 2 weeks. So how do you kind of build that trust and kind of, syncness, for lack of a better word?
Well, like in equestrian, we call it, we have like our own special equation that we always keep in mind that, normally in mathematical equation, it's like 1 + 1 is equal to, right? But for equestrian, 1 + 1 is you and your horse has to equals to 1. So you have to be a good combination and with a good relationship, and that will help you to bonding with your horse and be able to be successful in the sport.
Right, great. Thank you for sharing that and talking us through that.
One quick question. I don't mean to interrupt the both sport journalists here in the stream, but first thing, of course, congratulations on this great performance back then. And yes, I did see that video before because we had a talk already for how long did we talk back then? 2 hours or so. And of course, I did my research there as well. So I've seen that before, just saying. Secondly, yes, great performance, great horse, but training in Germany, come on. Of course, of course, you're doing well. The question I want to add, though, because Arch and Rain, I discussed this before. Afterwards, did you have to do some media stuff, like interviews, press conference, or anything?
Yes. Well, since I landed in Singapore, I have to do some interview with the journalists, and they were asking how are you feeling, and are you ready, and what's your goal, and all this stuff. And during a few days before the competition, there's a lot of media comes in to check on you, how your progress and your preparation towards the day of the competition. So I have to do a lot of interview as well.
How did this influence? Did it influence you? Had it any impact on your feelings, your mental health, your stress, or you're just like, oh, whatever, it's cool, I like talking about it, I like to bring, I don't know, more eyes onto the sport? Like, what's your feeling there?
Well, in a way, it does put a bit of pressure on me as well because most of the time, all journalists would ask you like, "What's your goal?" Of course, you're gonna like, "I'm gonna win the gold medal for Thailand," and you know yourself like how much you can, you wanted to. And sometimes when there's a lot of comments asking you like, "Hey, you're gonna get gold medal for us," and this and that from the media, yes, of course, it's gonna put a lot of pressure on me. And yeah, it's very hard to try to like um shut that down, put a wall in front of my face and like don't listen to them. It's quite hard.
Spoken like a true professional.
And